Well, when I first read the lyrics, the producers wrote it down for me, and I said, "What are you, nuts? This is a timeless lyric. Everyone will be able to relate to this because we all go through things in our lives, most of us many times in our lives, when we're facing something or going through something that we think is insurmountable and hope we'll survive." So I knew there was a timeless lyric that everybody would be able to relate to it. So I wasn't really surprised when it became a hit. Was I surprised to know that it's lasting this long? Not really surprised, but it's just something I hadn't thought about. You know, when you're in your 20s, which I was, or 30s, you don't think that far ahead. I'd fallen over a monitor on stage finished my show, went out to breakfast, went home, went to bed, woke up the next morning paralyzed from the waist down. And the paralysis didn't last long at all, but I was in hospital for 4 months because they didn't know what to do with that kind of an injury at that time. And so they finally decided that I had to have surgery. I had a spinal fusion, bone graft, and came out of the hospital wondering what was going to happen, where was I going. I didn't want to go back to a day job. And not that there's anything wrong with a day job, but I didn't think that was supposed to be my life. And so, you know, you get real acquainted with God when you find yourself in a place that you don't know what to do. So I was praying and left the hospital confident that God was going to do something, just didn't know what, especially since the record company had said that they were not going to renew my contract. And, so no recording contract, no gigs, no ability to perform or whatever. But I'm like, yeah, you got something up your sleeve. I know you're going to do something. I don't know what, but I'm ready for it, whatever it is. The record company called and said they'd gotten a new president from England where I was quite popular. He wanted to repeat the success that he'd had with a song in England called Substitute and wanted me to record it. Sent me out to California to Dino Fakaris and Freddie Perrin to record the song, and I asked them what would be the B-side. And they said, well, we don't know what kind of songs you like. I said, songs that are meaningful, have good melodies, touch people's hearts. They said, we think you're the one we've been waiting for to record this song we wrote 2 years ago. And of course, that turned out to be I Will Survive. Not only was I relating to that while I was recording the song, but I was also relating to the fact that my mother had passed away only a few years prior, which was something I never thought I'd survive. She was my rock, my foundation, and the bottom fell out. Yeah. Working with Kacey was awesome. She invited me to perform with her at her performance at Radio City Music Hall. She's recorded I Will Survive, of course. I understand that imitation is the greatest kind of compliment. So it was a compliment to me for her to do that. And when she asked me to come and sing it with her, it was an even greater compliment. And of course, I was thinking, oh, what are these kids going to think of hearing from me? Because as far as they're concerned, I'm their mother or their father's contemporary. And so I was wondering how they were going to take it. And so when I came up between the musicians, up over a riser and back down to the floor, and by the time I hit the floor, they were crazy. My manager was in the audience. She said the building was shaking. So it was such a phenomenal response and reception. I was very, very pleased and excited to do that and to be there.